The third time I came home, my trash can was flipped upside down in the middle of my driveway. Garbage was smeared across the concrete like some kind of twisted message. I didn't call the HOA. I didn't file a complaint. I just smiled. Because by then, I already knew exactly who was doing it. And I had a plan she was never going to see coming. Let me back up a bit. My name is Ryan. 2 years ago, I bought my first house. It was a 3-bedroom ranch in a quiet subdivision just outside Austin, Texas. It was the kind of neighborhood with big oak trees and American flags. It felt like home the second I pulled into the driveway. The property taxes were reasonable, and the title deed was clean. My real estate attorney said the HOA covenants looked standard. There was pool access, shared landscaping fees, and basic architectural guidelines. I signed the contract without thinking twice. The first week was perfect. Neighbors waved and left gifts. Then I met Brenda. Brenda Walsh was the vice president of the Silver Creek HOA board, and easily the most entitled human being I had ever encountered. She came over on day 8 without a hello. She pointed at my trash can sitting beside my garage and declared it a violation. She said receptacles must be stored out of sight, giving me 48 hours before issuing a formal notice. I moved the bin to the backyard that same afternoon, figuring it was just a neighborhood quirk. But 3 days later, I found a compliance letter in my mailbox on official HOA letterhead. Cited a violation fee for improper waste placement, even though I had already fixed it. I called the management office and left voicemails. I emailed the board directly. No response at all. But Brenda had no problem showing up at my door again, this time with a measuring tape. She claimed my lawn was a 1/4 inch above the maximum allowed height under the HOA regulations. She took a photo, made a note on her clipboard, and walked away. Within a week, I had my second notice, this time with a $25 fine attached. I paid it simply to avoid trouble. Looking back, that was my first mistake. Paying that fine told Brenda I would comply without a fight. Over the next 2 months, the ridiculous fines just kept rolling in one after another. A decorative rock too close to the sidewalk cost me $50. A garden hose left visible on a Tuesday was $25. My truck parked facing the wrong direction was $75. Every single notice was signed by Brenda Walsh. Then came the trash can incidents. The first time I found my bin tipped over, I figured it was the wind. The second time, I started to wonder. But the third time, with recycling scattered across my lawn at dawn, I noticed something. There were tire marks right next to my overturned can. Brenda's golf cart, tire marks, to be exact. If you're watching this and dealing with your own HOA nightmare, make sure to subscribe to HOA Victims. We share these stories so no homeowner fights alone. Hit that bell so you never miss one. Because what I did next, you were going to want to hear. I went to the hardware store and bought a waterproof motion-activated trail camera with night vision. I mounted it on my garage eave. I aimed it right at the curb where I set my trash out every Wednesday night, and I waited. Thursday morning at 4:17 a.m., the camera caught absolutely everything in crystal clear quality. Brenda's white golf cart rolled up to my curb with the headlights off. She stepped out, looked both ways, and deliberately pushed my trash can over with both hands before driving away. It was 43 seconds of pure time-stamped evidence. I saved the footage to my laptop, a USB drive, and the cloud. Documentation is everything when dealing with unchecked authority. I didn't confront her yet because I wanted more than just proof that she was petty. I wanted proof that she was corrupt. So, I started digging into the community's finances instead. I filed a formal request for a financial audit. Under the Texas Property Code, every homeowner has the legal right to do this. Shockingly, the HOA board completely denied my audit request. They stated in writing that it was unnecessary and disruptive to community operations. I kept that email. Denying a homeowner's legal right to financial records is incredibly suspicious. It is a direct violation of state regulations. I contacted a property rights attorney named David Harrison and paid for a 1-hour consultation. It was the best money I ever spent. He looked at my documentation, the fines, the denied audit, and the footage. He told me this wasn't just a neighbor dispute. It was targeted harassment and selective enforcement. He said, "Ryan, under the Texas HOA statutes, you have grounds for real legal action. Not just a complaint, but a full lawsuit." Attorney Harrison drafted a formal legal notice immediately. It was sent via certified mail to the Silver Creek Board of Directors. It demanded an immediate end to the harassment and full access to all financial records for the past 5 years. Brenda's response was to escalate. 2 days later, I received a $300 fine for an unapproved exterior modification. She claimed my trail camera was unauthorized. She was trying to punish me for catching her, hoping to fine me into silence. Sitting alone in my kitchen, staring at violation fees totaling over $600, I almost gave up. I thought about selling the house and walking away. But then I searched the county records for the Silver Creek HOA, and what I found absolutely changed everything about the situation. The HOA's annual financial filings hadn't been submitted to the county in 3 years. Even worse, their insurance policy on community common areas had actually lapsed 8 months ago. And here was the big one. Brenda Walsh had been collecting a management stipend of $900 a month from HOA dues. It was never approved, never disclosed, and never authorized. That was over $32,000 of homeowner money going directly into Brenda's personal bank account with zero oversight. There were no meeting minutes and no budget line items. I called Attorney Harrison the next morning. He was quiet for a moment before saying that this was potential embezzlement. It changed our entire legal strategy from reactive to offensive. Harrison sent a second certified letter directly to every member of the board. It outlined the undisclosed stipend, the lapsed insurance, the missing filings, and the denied financial audit. It demanded a full emergency board meeting within 10 days. Failure to comply would result in a formal complaint filed with the Texas Attorney General's office. The tone had finally shifted. 5 days later, I got an email from the board president, a man named Thomas Jenkins, whom I had never met. He wrote that they were unaware of the issues and scheduled an emergency meeting. My attendance was requested, not demanded. The meeting was held on a Tuesday night at the community clubhouse, complete with folding chairs and harsh fluorescent lights. About 40 homeowners showed up, the biggest turnout in 5 years. I sat in the second row with a manila folder containing all my evidence. Brenda sat up front, arms crossed and jaw tight. Thomas opened the meeting and immediately gave me the floor. My hands were shaking, but my voice wasn't. I projected the footage of Brenda tipping my trash can right onto the clubhouse wall. I presented the selective enforcement timeline, the denied audit, the lapsed insurance, and the missing $32,000. The room absolutely erupted with shouting homeowners. One woman revealed she was fined for a large wreath while Brenda had unapproved planters. Another man had been threatened with foreclosure over an unpaid fine for a non-existent rule. Brenda grabbed the microphone and claimed she had given more to the community than anyone else. She insisted she was just protecting property values and that everyone should be thanking her. The room went dead silent until someone in the back started laughing, and then everyone joined in. Thomas called for an immediate vote of no confidence, requiring a 2/3 majority. The vote was 37-2. Brenda was removed from the board that night, and her stipend was terminated. The board unanimously voted to launch a full, independent financial audit. The audit confirmed she had diverted thousands to her personal account over 36 months. There were also unaccounted petty cash withdrawals and shady vendor contracts given to family. Attorney Harrison filed a civil lawsuit against Brenda to recover the funds, and she was reported to local law enforcement. Meanwhile, my $600 in fines were wiped clean. The board sent me a formal apology. 2 months later, Brenda settled the lawsuit and repaid most of the money, though her legal fees ruined her. She put her house up for sale shortly after. The listing was quiet, with no open house and no sign in the yard. I still live in Silver Creek today. The new board is completely transparent, publishing all meeting minutes online. Financial reports are available to everyone, and the insurance policy is current. Best of all, my trash can sits at the curb every Wednesday night without a single person ever touching it. Here is what I learned. An HOA only has as much power as you let it have. If you know your property rights and keep documentation of absolutely everything, they simply cannot touch you. Get a good attorney and do not back down. The law is on your side, so use it. What would you have done if your HOA vice president was tipping your trash can and fining you for fighting back? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't already, subscribe to HOA Victims because these stories happen every single day. The next one might just be yours.